let's talk about X-Defiant. Now we're going to talk about Ubisoft because obviously you guys know Ubisoft is not doing too well. You know, the last stream yesterday, we spoke about how the Prince of Persia studio or the Prince of Persia developers got shut down essentially because it just wasn't good, right? The game flopped, it wasn't good, and it kind of died off, right? Things aren't looking good for Ubisoft. We have Prince of Persia as an L. We have Star Wars Outlaws as an L. We have Assassin's Creed being delayed till February as a potential L. And then we also got the biggest L in gaming that nobody seems to be talking about, which is Skull and Bones, because everybody wants to focus on Concord, because obviously it's funnier to make fun of Concord. But Skull and Bones, in fact, was a worse L than Concord. It is the biggest L of the year, without a doubt, and probably one of the biggest L's in history. But that's besides the point. X-Defiant has been losing player base, has been losing its player base for a while. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the game is bad. I haven't played it. I have no idea. And this is not about whether or not it's good or bad. What I want to talk about is what the actual producer has said about this, because there has been rumors going around about X-Defiant and how the game is going to shut down after season 4, that there's no more planned content after season 4. And in all actuality, the roadmap only goes to season 4. You know, I saw pictures of the roadmap and it ends at season 4, and they don't even have full plans showed for season 4 yet. So now apparently the executive producer is trying to say otherwise. And I really want to talk about this. So it says executive producer claims that Ubisoft has no plans to shut down after season 4, but admits that the numbers are down. Okay, fair enough. That's perfectly fine, right? You're allowed to say that, no problem. But I just want to remind people during this conversation, whenever the main people over at the studio say something, you also have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, very similar to how you do with rumors almost. You could take it with a little bit more officiality, but at the end of the day, they have lied so many times to gamers. And I'll give you an example. Firewalk Studios said everything was fine. Firewalk Studios says that all the hatred was white noise. Firewalk Studios says that they have plans to run this game for years on end. They have content plans and everything's ready, and they're going to support this game for years on end. And then the game died in 10 days, right? They said this after the 3rd or 4th day of launch, and then the game dies 6 days later, right? So you can't take what they say seriously all the time. You have to realize that if anybody's going to run damage control for the game, it's going to be the people who are reliant on the game, which is going to be Ubisoft. I'm not saying don't believe them, but I'm just saying that they have some incentive to convince you that the game is fine and keep spending money, right? Because I believe this is a live service game, is it not? Chat, if you can help me out here. X-Defiant, I believe, is a live service game. So, you know, they want people to keep buying, keep spending money and whatnot. I'm sure they don't want people thinking this game is going to die. Can you imagine the amount of money they're going to lose if people found out the game was going to die? Of course not. So they're going to want to keep telling people that the game is going to stay alive, because that's going to make them want to keep spending money and keep playing the game. Even though, I mean, it's on a very, very, very downward spiral. It was really popular after the, I think the Call of Duty like backlash that happened not that long ago. And then it kind of died off. Okay, here we go. So the report also shared that the game topped viewership charts, acquiring more than 10 million players within its first 2 weeks. That is insane. I just want to let you guys know that. That is insane. 10 million players in the first 2 weeks. That's what Concord needed. And Concord didn't get it, right? 10 million players in the first 2 weeks. Okay, this game's been out for a while, by the way. So just follow me. We're going to go through the history. So when the game came out, 10 million players in 2 weeks. Okay, fantastic. That's awesome. With players praising the thrilling, fast-paced gameplay and the map variety. Okay, cool. The game outperformed expectations thanks to acquisition and strong average revenue per session day. A report from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming claimed at the time of launch, the game had over 1 million unique players in its first 2.5 hours and over 8 million in the first week. Okay. However, Henderson, and this is such a big fall because, again, 10 million players is nothing to scoff at. Now let's read this part and have your mind blown. Listen to this. Henderson also reported at the end of August that things were not looking good for X-Defiant and that the game was seeing continuously declining player numbers and lack of player spending. He reported that one source informed him that the game has been struggling to obtain 20,000 concurrent players across all platforms. They went from 10 million to 20,000. That is such a hard fall from grace. I don't even know how to even extrapolate that. I don't. I can't imagine going from 10 million to 20,000. And I got to imagine that the number is probably even lower now. What is this game? It's a first-person shooter. Very Call of Duty-like. It's a first-person shooter. It was very popular in the beginning, but it has been such a fall from grace. It's insane. That is one hell of a difference. In fact, Henderson also shared that if the game does not turn things around by season 3, it risks losing its much-needed post-launch support. Following the report, Ubisoft addressed it in a blog in the middle of September. The game's Ruben stated at the time, "I just want to quickly address the status of the game. I.e., is the game dying? No, the game is absolutely not dying." Now, again, he has incentive to tell you and convince you that it's not dying. I get it. I totally get it. It doesn't mean that it's true or not true. I'm just pointing out a little bit of the obvious. But again, he elaborated, we know that things need to improve, like netcode and hit registration. Bro, if you have problems, if you have netcode and hit registration problems, and you're into almost 4 seasons of your game, you kind of deserve to lose all those players. That makes sense, right? We're not dealing with wokeness here. We're dealing with absolute laziness. We're dealing with a company that wants to convince you to keep spending money on a game that it's a first-person shooter and it has netcode and hit registration problems. How do you have those problems 4 seasons in? That's crazy. It's a first-person shooter. It's kind of important to get the hit registration right. I would have stopped playing too. I would have said, you know what? This is fucking dumb. I'm walking out. I'm walking away. I don't blame them. Now I understand why it went from 10 million to 20,000. That's incompetence. That is bad developers. That is garbage developers. That's insane. Bro, Counter-Strike 1.6 has perfect or damn near perfect hit detection. How the fuck are you struggling with hit detection in a first-person shooter in 2024? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know, bro. I'm actually shocked they even admitted that. But you know what? Whatever. Adding more content to progression. No. Stop the content. You're not doing content for progression. You're doing content because you're trying to milk money out of players. Stop the fucking content and fix your netcode and your hit registration. That should be what you're focusing on right now. You should not be sitting there making any content, any DLC, any battle passes, nothing like that. You need to sit there and figure out what the fuck is happening with your hit registration and your netcode. You need to figure that out because you're not going to have a game if you don't figure that out. So you're not going to be able to monetize it anyway. It's insane, bro. I don't even know. I don't even know. But you know what it is? It's corporate greed. It's corporate greed at this point, right? Corporate greed is the problem in this particular scenario. Again, you don't even have... Look, it says Season 4, quality of life, more info coming soon. They don't even have it fully fleshed out yet. You have a roadmap, but nowhere on this roadmap does it say fixing hit registration. You want to talk about quality of life? I don't see that anywhere. Look, you got mantle improvements, player collision improvements, audio footstep improvements, leaderboards, ranked loadouts, and then you got replay, death replay cam, improved first-person or first-time user experience, ranked rejoin, ranked sanctions, ranked vote to surrender, and then nothing. Fix your hit detection, bro. Fix it. You can't have a first-person shooter and have bad hitboxes. That's just not going to work. That's not going to work.